everyone and welcome. My name is Danielle Toms and I'm one of the 4-H educators here in Hannah County. Today we're going to be making a 2-liter herb planter. So we have all of our materials here laid out. We have our 2-liter bottle which has been cleaned and a lid. We have our twine, our hammer and nail, a marker, scissors, our potting soil, our herbs, and our water. So let's get started. So we've already washed our 2-liter bottle. We are going to take the marker and mark a spot midway around the bottle that we're going to use to cut. It doesn't have to be perfectly in the middle, it's just a nice way to help guide you when making these cuts. So we made our mark and we're going to take a pair of sharp scissors or an X-Acto knife to cut our 2-liter bottle in half. Sometimes making that first cut can be most difficult. So we have our 2-liter bottle cut into 2 pieces. Now there are some rough edges around both pieces, and I'm going to go back and trim those up just so that we don't cut ourselves on it later. Alright, so we have nice smooth edges now. Now we're going to set those off to the side, and using our hammer and our nail, we are going to poke some holes in our lid. Now if you don't have a nail at home, you can always use a screwdriver as well, but no matter what, make sure you're using adult supervision. Alright, so we created our hole, and now we're going to move on. So next we are going to create a wick for our planter. So using twine, hopefully cotton based, something that's going to absorb the water very well. We are going to want to make sure that the twine fits in the bottom part of the container, and we'll be able to feed up through the upper part of the container. So I'm just going to do a rough measurement to kind of see where we need to cut our twine. I'm kind of feeling like right in here, because we want to allow some extra twine to be able to use to tie our knot. We're going to cut approximately 4 pieces. If your twine is very thin, you could cut more. If your twine is very thick, you could cut a little less. And we're just going to use that first piece to continue to measure off each piece we cut. Alright, so we have 4 pieces of twine cut. This will help create our wick. So about 2 inches up from the bottom, so about right in here, we need to tie a knot. And that knot will rest in our hole, and these pieces will reach down into that reservoir. So now we have our wick. After I tied that knot, our knot kind of wound up a little bit more in the center, but it's alright. So I'm going to take the end that I was planning on putting on the reservoir, and I'm going to kind of twist a little bit. Now when we put it through our bottle cap, this is the part I want in the reservoir. And this is the part I measured, so I'm going to put it in from the back side so that it comes out the top of the lid. Alright, so now we have our wick inside our bottle. We are going to take these pieces and feed them inside the bottle and attach our lid to our bottle. Make sure to hold onto the wick in your hand as you put on the bottle cap, because the knot is on the inside and we don't want it to drop back through. Alright, so now we're going to spread out our wick a little bit, and that will sit down in our water reservoir. We have our pieces that were coming up through the bottle, and we want to spread them out a little bit because these are what are going to help water our plants on a regular basis. Wicks are really great if you're starting from seedlings and trying to grow from seeds. I recommend it if you're using small twine like I am to use it probably 6 pieces. If you're using a thicker twine, maybe only 4. But today we're going with a plant that's already growing. We're just trying to continue its health. So next we're going to add some potting soil. We're just going to put a little bit in there, that way we can kind of control where our wicks are at and make sure they're spread out. Alright, so we have about a third of it filled with potting soil. Now today I'm using parsley. I also have oregano with us. these are both herbs that I like to cook with fresh and dried. So we are gonna go ahead. We'll try to get this guy out. His soil's pretty dry. I'm gonna break some of it up a little bit. We're gonna put it down in there. Now, using that soil that I just used, or loosened up from the plant, I'm gonna put back in to help tighten things up in there. And we're gonna continue to make sure that soil is added to help fill the space. If you wanted to do seeds instead of plants, I recommend filling the planter with about 2/3 of the way full of soil, putting your seeds in, and then topping it off. All right, so I don't have the soil quite to the top, and I'm not packing it down, I'm still giving it lots of air. And that's our planter. But what is the biggest thing we're missing? Food, right? So our biggest plant food is water, right? So my plant was pretty dry to begin with, so we're gonna go ahead and water from the top to help give it a little bit of moisture. We never want to water to the point like it makes mud. We want to just dampen the soil. And we may not see any drip down through because like I said, the soil was pretty dry to begin with. So we're gonna lift our planter up. We're gonna add a little bit to our water reservoir and sit our top piece back in there. Probably could add a little bit more water. What's nice with the wick is the wick will draw that water up and back into the planter so that tomorrow we don't have to water our plant. It will water itself. Make sure to keep an eye on your planter with the water levels here, and also maybe check the top of the soil as well with your finger. If it's pretty dry up here, give it a splash of water on the top. Make sure to keep it in a well-lit area, preferably a windowsill if you're keeping it in the house, or somewhere outside where the animals are not going to get to it but still gets plenty of sunlight. That's our 2-liter herb planter. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.